Hi, welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight, I'll be featuring the case of Stanley Williams, also known as Tookie. This was a suggestion by friend of the show, Kevin Malone. Thank you, Kevin, for the recommendation. Now, let's go ahead and find out more. Let's go ahead and dive on in. Stanley Williams III was born on December 29, 1953. He was named after his father, but raised by his mother in Louisiana. 1959, the family moved to South Los Angeles. The hope was to escape poverty and crime. He spent his youth as a delinquent, rebounding in and out of Central Juvenile Hall. He would beat, rob, and shoot at the innocent. 1970, he had juvenile convictions for drugs and auto theft. As a result, he was sent to a youth detention camp. 1971, Tookie quit high school altogether. Also in 1971, Tookie and Raymond Washington co-founded the street gang known as the Crips. At this time, Tookie was now viewed as one of the more menacing tough guys in South Los Angeles. He weighed 300 pounds and had biceps that measured 22 inches. February 28, 1979, Tookie and three friends were riding around in two cars in the early morning hours. They were smoking PCP-laced cigarettes and looking to, quote, make some money, end quote. There were two unsuccessful restaurant and liquor store robbery attempts that they had made before they went to a 7-Eleven store. Albert Lewis Owens was a 26-year-old Army veteran and father of two who was working the overnight shift at that 7-Eleven, and he was sweeping the parking lot. Tookie took his shotgun and led Albert to the back room of the store. One of Tookie's companions emptied the cash register drawer and took $120, while the other companion ordered Albert to get on his knees. And then Tookie shot him twice in the back. He even started laughing hysterically at the noises Albert made when he was dying. March 11th, 1979, around 5:30 a.m., Tookie and another man broke down the door and entered the Brookhaven Hotel in Los Angeles. They shot to death a 76-year-old, his 63-year-old wife, and their 43-year-old daughter. Tookie took $50 in cash and left. 1981, Tookie was now found and stood trial for the 4 murders. He pled not guilty, maintaining he was innocent. He didn't testify in his own defense, but the defense argued he had alibis for both holdups. April 20th, 1981, a jury convicted Tookie, and this landed him on death row. He stated he was railroaded by witnesses who lied in exchange for leniency of their own criminal cases. He said there was a faulty ballistics test, and the prosecutor removed 3 African Americans from the jury. By 1992, Tookie was a changed man, so he stated. While on death row, he gained notoriety. He authored children's books with an anti-gang message and promoted peace. His work gained him a nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize in Literature and for Peace. He gained support from celebrities and anti-death penalty advocates that include Mike Farrell, Jesse Jackson, Jamie Foxx, and others. They argued that his work and redemption on death row merited a reprieve from execution. However, state and federal courts rejected each of his appeals. On October 11, 2005, the U.S. Supreme Court rejected Tookie's appeal to investigate the racism and discrimination at the heart of his case, as well as his innocence issues. December 12, 2005, that evening, Tookie was calm and upbeat. He refused his privilege of a special last meal and ate nothing but oatmeal and milk all day. He spent his time watching TV and reading some of the roughly 50 letters that arrived to him. The letters came from all over the world: Italy, Israel, and the letters included some from school children. Many of them said they were praying for him. Outside of the prison, there was a crowd of about 2,000 demonstrators and celebrities, advocates, and anti-death penalty advocates. They pleaded for Tookie's life to be spared. This included civil rights leader Jesse Jackson, who stated, quote, "To kill him is a way of making politicians look tough. It does not make it right. It does not make any of us safer. It does not make any of us more secure," end quote. There were also demonstrators who were there for Tookie's execution. Some motorists shouted from their car windows, "Kill him," end quote. Finally, then Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger denied clemency. He stated, quote, "The facts do not justify overturning the jury's verdict or the decisions of the courts in this case. Without an apology and atonement for these senseless and brutal killings, there can be no redemption," end quote. December 13th, 2005, Stanley Tookie Williams was executed by lethal injection. It took nearly 20 minutes to insert the IVs into his arms that included the lethal chemicals. He was pronounced dead at 12:35 a.m. He was 51 years old. He leaves behind a son, Stanley Williams Jr., who was in state prison himself and serving a 16-year sentence for second-degree murder. And that is the case of Stanley Tookie Williams. Thank you for sticking around for another episode of Danny After Dark. And thank you, Kevin Malone, for the case suggestion. Do you have any questions or comments about the case? Leave it down below. Let's be interactive. Do you have a suggestion for a case you'd like me to cover? Leave it down below. You may see it featured in an upcoming episode. Until next time, remember, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us.